Okay, we got Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a singles match. No real doubt in my mind here. Pretty certain that Jade's going to get the win. I think she's going to move up and up the card in the women's division over the next several months, and I could definitely see her challenging for a women's championship next WrestleMania. So I definitely think Jade is getting the win here, and I would be absolutely shocked if she loses. Okay, so we got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano in a singles match. I think this should be a fun match. What I ultimately think is going to happen is Rey is going to win the match, and this is going to lead to El Grande Americano getting unmasked at WrestleMania in kind of a fun moment with the crowd, kind of laughing at Chad Gable type thing. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. I think it could be a fun match and moment. So Rey wins, and then the unmasking happens. Okay, we got LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. I'm pretty certain that Fatu is going to get the win here. I say that because I see WWE pushing Fatu hard over the next several months to a year. I think they're going to keep pushing him up the card, and I think he's going to keep getting some big wins. And I think this is going to be kind of his first big win of many to come. So, yeah, I think Fatu's winning the title, and that's just going to slowly build him up the card. So, Fatu wins. Okay, so we got Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm a huge Gunther fan. While saying that, I think that Jay is going to get the win here. I just think of the way it's setting up with the storyline and the crowd reactions for Jay. I think they're setting up him getting his big moment in front of the WrestleMania crowd, doing the Yeet chant with the title. I think it's setting up perfectly for that. I don't think they would have had Jay lose at the Saturday night's main event pay per view if they were going to just have him lose again at this WrestleMania event. It feels like it would kind of kill Jay a bit. So as a main event guy, and I think this win here has a chance to solidify him. So I'm going with Jay winning. I think they'll protect Gunther in the loss, and he'll be fine. He'll kind of move on to something else, and he'll stay in the world title picture. So we got the New Day versus the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championships. If I'm being honest, I think this is more of a filler match for the card. My expectations are not super high for it to be kind of the match of the night or anything. What I think is going to happen is I think that the War Raiders are going to win, and yeah, nothing too crazy happens. Just kind of a fairly quick match. Okay, so we got Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship. I think this is going to be a good match. What I think should happen is I think Tiffany Stratton should get the win. I think this would be a big win for her career, and I think it would really help to establish herself as kind of a high level player in the women's division for kind of years to come, getting that kind of a big of a win against somebody like Charlotte. But what I actually think is going to happen is Charlotte's going to win. I think they're going to tell the storyline with Charlotte chasing her dad, Ric Flair's world title record. I think with this, she'll be about one or two behind. Can't remember off the top of my head. So, yeah, I see her winning this match here, and I think they're going to tell that story. So, Charlotte wins. I think Tiffany should win, but Charlotte is my prediction. Okay, so in the main event of night one, we have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in a triple threat match. First of all, I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I definitely think it's going to be the best match of night one, and I think it has a chance to be the best match of all of WrestleMania weekend. My expectations are really high. I think all three guys are going to try to steal the show, and I think it's going to be a classic triple threat match when it's all said and done. As for the winner, I'm going with Roman Reigns. He's usually a pretty safe bet in these type of matches to win. I think he's going to get the win. To take it a little further, though, I think that Roman is actually going to pin Seth Rollins, and that is going to save the future Roman Reigns versus CM Punk singles match for down the road. I think that could either happen at SummerSlam or WrestleMania 42. Either way, I have Roman winning with Punk not taking the pin and Seth being the guy that takes the pinfall loss. To start on night two, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the women's tag team titles. I think that Liv and Raquel are going to retain here, and I think that it's going to lead to a Bayley and Lyra feud for the women's intercontinental championship over the next couple months here. So yeah, I think Liv and Raquel retain, and then Bayley and Lyra. There's some tension teased between them, and then we get some good matches between them over the next few months. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul in a singles match. First of all, I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match. What I mean by that is I feel like there's going to be a lot of outside interference. I could see Jake Paul showing up. I could see other celebrities come and help AJ, stuff like that. This is the kind of match that I think could have a bunch of outside interference. So kind of watch out for that. As for the winner, I'm actually going with Logan Paul here. I know it's kind of usually the baby faces win, but at WrestleMania, but I don't know. It just feels like AJ doesn't really need the win at this point of his career, and this could really help Logan kind of move up the card. I think WWE really likes Logan Paul, and I think they're going to kind of push him into more of a higher level of the card over the next year. So I could see this being a big kind of statement win for him, and kind of use that to kind of elevate him moving forward. So I'm going with Logan Paul as my pick. Next up, we have Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. I'm not super excited for this match, if I'm being honest. It kind of feels like they're just throwing this together because they didn't really have a place for Drew on the card this year. I think it'll be a hard hitting match, though, and some of the street fight stuff should be fun, but it kind of feels like a Raw main event and not a WrestleMania match. But maybe they'll prove me wrong and have a really strong match. But we'll have to wait and see. But as for the winner, I'm going with Drew McIntyre. I just think that WWE values Drew more than they do Priest, and that's why I'm picking Drew. And I think they'll kind of figure out what to do with Drew next. But yeah, I'm going with McIntyre winning. Okay, so up next, we got the Fatal 4-Way match between Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Penta, and Finn Balor. I think this should be a fun Fatal 4-Way match. I think that it's going to be kind of the tale of two main storylines. I think it's going to be the in-ring work between Penta and Braun that is showcased, and then it's going to be the kind of storyline aspect of the tension between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio and their kind of eventual split that they seem to be leading towards. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to see something where Finn and Dominic argue during this match and cost one another the match somehow. They're both going to be distracted by each other, and that's going to allow either Penta or Braun to win. So that's how I see that side going. I think Braun's going to retain the title here after pinning either Finn or Dominic after their argument, and I think that's going to save Penta from taking a loss here, and that's going to save the Braun Breaker versus Penta rematch for the title for the future. So yeah, I'm going with Braun retaining. I'm going with Finn and Dominic kind of splitting up, or at least strongly hinting towards a breakup with sort of an argument in the ring or something like that. Okay, so we got Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship in a triple threat match. I think this should be another really good triple threat match on the card, and I'm excited for it. As for the winner, I actually think Io Sky is going to retain. I feel like they just switched the title, and I don't really see them switching it up again. I could see there being some tension between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley where they kind of cost each other the match, and that kind of sets up their feud moving forward. But that allows Io to retain the title. She takes advantage somehow. Yeah, I just kind of feel like if they were going to put the title on Bianca, they would maybe keep it a singles match. So my gut says that Io retains the title, and maybe she loses it in a month or two. But I just feel like they're going to keep the title on Io for now. They're going to save maybe a future Bianca or Rhea winning the title back for down the road. Okay, so the main event of night two is going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship. I think this is going to be a really good match. The storyline's been great. They've set the table with a lot of intrigue, so I'm really excited for it, and I think it's going to be really good. I think my gut says that John Cena wins here. I say that because I think that if he loses, it will devalue the heel turn. I think if they're just going to have him turn heel for 2 months, what everyone's been asking for so many years, and then he loses and he retires after just a few months, I feel like it'd be a waste. I feel like there's more story to tell, and I think it makes more sense for Cena to win the title here, and we can kind of get a few months of cocky asshole John Cena. I think could be really good. And I don't think Cena needs to have a long title run at all, but I think that he can drop it back to Cody at SummerSlam or somebody else at SummerSlam or in the next couple months. But I think they'd be doing a disservice if you don't get a few months of heel Cena. And I also think he deserves it for all his years for the company. I think he deserves the 17th world title and that kind of accolade for everything he's done. So I think those two reasons have me feeling like it's going to be Cena. And I think that we could get some more fun storylines from that. So yeah,